for funding to expand the out-of-school program. Item 11.1, Director of Courts Visitor Information Center contract. Do you have a motion?
Moved by Councillor Hidzem, seconded by Councillor Eliason, that the Mayor and Chief Administrative Officer be authorized to execute agreements with the Chamber of Commerce for 2008, contract for the operation of the Visitor Center, sublease agreement for the rental of space for the operation of the Chamber of Commerce at the old courthouse facility.
Director of Corporate Services.
Worship, this is related to the presentation made by the Chamber this afternoon.
Right. So, discussion? Councillor Flynn?
Yeah, the only thing I would like to do is, they're asking for an additional, I think a little about 9,500, of which 1,000 is possibly needed for the contingency allocation in case they don't get funding from the government program. Is that correct? I guess I'd prefer to see us approve the additional 5,600 and leave the 4,000 out. I think that any of those governments, if they know that there's a contingency there, they'll not give it to you, and I think we'll deal with that at council initiatives at the time next summer if we have to. So I'd rather see us approve the increase of 5,600, which isn't at all out of the question with what's happening with costs, and they're all very valid, and leave the 4,000 out and deal with it at the time of approval. So I'll make a motion to approve the 5,600 increase, but leave the 4,000 and deal with that if they don't get the funding next summer of council initiatives.
So this would be an amendment. Second by Mr. Cannon. Any further discussion on the amendment, Councillor Harrison?
I support the amendment. I think the 5,600 treat them, but I understand they have to pay for hydro and that kind of thing. So having said that, it's still and so I would note, I can't give you a promise that I would okay it later on, but I'd like to remove it from this budget request.
All in favor of the amendment? The motion as amended. Anything further, Councillor Harrison?
I would like to speak to it, Your Worship. I think, I guess about a year ago, probably a year ago, we looked at the VIC, and we had talked at that time about the possibility of tendering out the VIC. And I think to credit, and especially Corinne's credit, they turned things around there. And so I'm confident now in the operation that you've done. I'm going to give you one more year with no promise. But I think certainly it's in the right direction there, and the Chamber deserves another year to talk.
Thank you, Worship. I would echo Council's and just clarify that I'm not promising the 4,000 if it falls short this summer, but we would deal with that at the time. And state that I think you've really come a long way, both in the reporting to us, the membership growth of 30-some members, over 10%. I think that's to be commended. And I mean, we don't manage your membership. We ask you to run our visitor info center, but I think you've done a great job. I think the new location is a great spot for the city and for yourselves. And commend you on a very detailed report, and probably the most detailed we've seen in a long time, if ever. And so I'm in support of renewing for the year, and see what happens after this year.
Councillor Eliason?
I get to work with Corinne occasionally, and great job. Thanks.
All in favor? Motion's carried. Next we have item 11.2, Economic Development Society, additional cost of relocation. We have a motion.
Moved by Councillor Cantel, seconded by Councillor Flynn, that Council approve the additional costs associated with moving the Economic Development Society to the old courthouse facility, the amount of $7,304.96.
Corporate Services.
Worship, I think the report explains what is transpired. We are allocated amount in the budget for the relocation of the chamber and the EDS, and the EDS, while both budgets exceeded the moving costs, staff did not have the refund all of the EDSs, as some of it was attributed not to moving expenses, but more to executive furniture, boardroom tables, etc. So it was felt that needed to be brought back to council.
Thank you. Council? Councillor Flynn?
I didn't specific line item in the amended budget we approved. Is it not in there yet because we haven't yet approved it, or was it in there?
That's right. It will flow into that.
Okay. Any further? All in favor? Opposed? Item number 3, council meeting schedule and Development and Planning Services Committee meeting schedule. We have a motion.
Moved by Councillor Cannon, second by Councillor Ibsen, that council adopt the 2008 council meeting schedule and 2008 Development Services Committee meeting schedule as circulated.
It's very straightforward. Any comment, council? Councillor Flynn?
My only comment would be that knowing how hard it was for us to actually plan a retreat day over the last 2 years, that perhaps it should be one of the dates worthy of note at the start, and we should pick it now and people can plan for it.
We have it December 9th.
I know, but we've had it rescheduled like 7 times in the last 6. If we want to have a retreat, it should be decided now, kind of when it is. We may not want it, I'm just...
I'm not prepared to do it now. I don't know if anybody else is, but it'd be a good time. Councillor Izan?
The only other comment I wanted to make was, as part of this, it's not absolutely necessary, but probably worth noting on there the next municipal election and all of that, considering it will have an impact on this council or the next one.
Right, but right now we're Development and Planning Services Committee and council meeting. Any further? All in favor? Carried. Item 12.1, Ministry Key Exchange Program. I don't believe there's a motion prepared. We're looking for a motion.
That's correct, Your Worship.
Move that the administrator and mayor be authorized to attend. Moved by Councillor Eliason, second by Councillor Kentel.
Your Worship, I just might add, although it says it on page 171, there is no budget impact for the administrative end, as that can be accommodated with the annual professional development allocation that we already have.
Thank you. Council? Councillor Kendall?
I just would be very meaningful for our administrator to be able to go and chief administrative officer, and I know that they really like to see the mayor. I'm all in favor. It's a wonderful experience and very additional.
Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Council statements. Councillor Itzan. You wish to speak to the DIA?
Thank you, Your Worship. Back in October, there was the last DIA board meeting, and I attended a variety of items of discussion, a number of which have already been reported in the media, but one that I wanted to raise, which I think is the DIA's interest in supporting improved signage for the downtown. And they said at the very least they'd like to see the green type highway signs pointing to our city center. For example, we have ones that point to the fairgrounds, and they would like to see something like that, and are supportive of more elaborate city center signage per their budget and referrals to our city budget process. But at the very least, a standard Ministry of Transportation green signs indicating city center. And so I'm hoping that our Director of Engineering and Public Works can have that appropriate discussion with the Ministry of Transportation, and then as well, as council, we can look at what more elaborate signage we'd like to support in the future budget-wise. The other one to make is for the November board meeting next week. It conflicts with the Okanagan Regional Library Board meeting, which I'm also on, so I'm hoping a member of council will be able to attend in my absence.
Councillor Kendall, do you want to speak on the fall fair?
Yes, I took the concern of Councillor Flynn that you cannot walk, it's publicly owned land and it has restricted use, and I think he wanted to say he was wrong.
Councillor Flynn?
Yeah, I will say I was wrong, because I got a call, or a couple of Mr. Wright, and I also talked to Ellen Hammer, who's on the board, and there are 3 or 4 accesses, but it will be a qualified wrong, because most of the general public doesn't know they're there, and doesn't know that that is accessible year-round. And So after finding out, I did call John